Welcome back to Samebright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew this beautiful 6-piece skirt with tail and train. So I'll be teaching you the easiest method to cut out your 6 pieces with tail and train. It also have an elastic band as well. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn how this beautiful skirt is made. So this is what your 6 pieces skirt looks like. I just want to show you what it looks like before we proceed. This is the back panel and this is the front panel. And here you can see we have 1, 2, 3 panels. Then we also have 1, 2, 3 panels at the back. But for the back parts, we are going to have a zipper at the center back like this, and it's going to have a tail. So that is what is going to make us to cut these pieces into 1, 2, 3, and 4 panels for the back. I believe you understand. So now here is the waistline, and this is my hip line, and this is the knee line, and this is the full length of our 6 pieces skirt. So this is exactly what we are going to have for the front and the back panel. So we'll be working on the front panel first, and I would like to show you how to go about it. So this section we have right here is going to be our bust span measurement. So the bust span measurement, you have your nipple to nipple measurement. That is what we are going to use for this panel. But now, because we are going to fold our fabric into 2, of course you are going to see how our fabric is going to be folded. So from here to here, the half of it, I will be using 4 inches. And on the hip line, this is the hip line, I'll also mark out 4 inches. And then once we come to the knee line, we'll take away half an inch from 4. That will give us 3.5 inches. So I want you to take note of these numbers. If your bust span is 8 inches, for example, or 9 inches, whatever it is, divide it by 2. And the figure you got, nipple to nipple, divide by 2. For me, I'm using 8 inches. Divide by 2 is 4. And on the hip, I'm also going to mark 4. But on the knee, I'm going to take away half an inch. So on the down part of my panel, I'm going to use as much as 12 inches. So if you have more fabric, you can do 12, 14, or 16, as much as you want it to flow. So I'm going to fold my fabric right now for the cutting of this front panel. So we are going to cut this panel I just demonstrated, which is the center front panel, right away. Now I'm going to make use of 3.5 yards of Ankara here. I'll be using 3.5 for the 6 pieces skirt. So I'm going to first fold. So I'll come in with my Ankara fabric now, and I'm going to place my fabric on fold. So I'm placing it on fold. Remember, I told you that I'm going to fold it at 14 inches. So I'll just go ahead and take my measurement at 12 inches rather. So I'll measure what I have. So I will reduce, because I want the center front to be at 13 inches, at 12 inches, so that at the end of the day, when you open it, we have 24. So I'll still fold it a little more. All right, so here is 12 inches. So here Ankara comes at length of 45, and I'm going to use the whole length of that 45 for my 6 pieces skirt. So here you can see we have length of 45. So I'm using the whole length of this Ankara to serve as the 6 pieces. And now I've folded my fabric to 12 inches. Like I said, if you have much fabric, you can go ahead and do more than that. So I'll just go ahead and cut out That's 12 inches. I'm cutting it out from my main Ankara fabric. All right, so having cut that, so after cutting that, I want to cross check. I have 12 inches, which is the width of this Ankara. I have 12 inches. So now we'll start off the marking. So I'm going to mark my hip line from here. The first marking will be my hip line at 9 inches. The second marking will be at 17 inches. I got the 17 by removing, this is my actual knee line at 21. You count 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. So it's always at 14 inches. Then I'm going to use the whole of Ankara length right now. So I'll go ahead and highlight my lines. I'm going to highlight my lines. That is my waistline, my hip line. This is the knee line and the full length. So after that, so from our drawing right now, so you can see the panel we are working with now. And here is my waistline, which I highlighted, and here is the hip line, and this is the line, and here is the knee line, as you can see right here. So we are going to take this 4 inches because we have it on fold, as you can see. So I'll just go ahead and take the measurement at 4 inches. So this is the part that is folded, so I'll take 4 inches. After that, the hip line is also at 4 inches. I'll mark 4 inches. And then I told you to remove 5 inches, 0.5 inches, which is 3.5. So I'm going to mark 3.5. So after that, I'm going to connect my lines accordingly. So I'll go ahead and connect what I have from here. And then connect it this way. Then, so after connecting my lines, the next you do is to add your seam allowance. So my seam allowance, I'm adding half an inch, half an inch, half an inch. So I'm going to connect the half an inch lines like this. Then I'll connect this way. That is my seam allowance. Then from this seam allowance, from this knee line, which I have added my half an inch now. So from this point, I'm going to place my ruler from there this way, and I'll take it all the way to this line. As you can see, I'll just take it up to this point. So here you can see the front panel of our skirt is ready, and I'm going to cut it out. So we want to cut out the center back right now. So we are cutting out the center back where we have the tail. Okay, so we are cutting the whole of this panel. So this time around, I want to add a tail to it. So I just folded it, the Ankara length on the side like this. So I've placed it already for the edge, and I made sure that I have this edge. So make sure that this edge touches this edge like this. So it's going to touch this edge like this. Then you can secure with your pin if you want. So can you see what we have there? So this is the main panel, the front panel that we just cut now. So just place it on top of your fabric you placed on fold, as you can see. So I said I have to fold it this way now because I want to create a little tail. So at this point you can see here is touching here. So now we have this space. I have this space at 7 inches, as you can see. So here so at the tip right now, after you have placed it, the rest of the tail or the extension, I have it at 7 inches. So you can go 8 or you can go 9 depending on how much fabric you have. So after that, I'm going to come back to the upper piece. So here on the waistline, just go ahead and add 1.5 inches, and on the hip line add 2 inches. On the knee line add 1.5 inches. So we are going to connect all those points. So I'm going to connect here to the from the waist to the hip, and then connect from the hip to the knee. So after connecting from waist to hip like this, make sure you extend your lines. Okay, so these lines you need to extend them before you take that measurement. So this is my waistline. So I come again with it. I have 1.5. Here is 2 inches because of the bum, and here is 1.5 because of the bum illusion. So after that, I'm going to connect from this 1.5. I'm going to take it all the way to our extension. So I'll go this way. So at the hem, I'm going to extend my line first. Okay, that is the hem line. So at this hem line right now, I'll come down from that hem line because I need a little tail at the center back. So I'll just come down by 4 inches. So you are going to mark out the 4 inches like this. Okay, so after marking out that 4 inches, I'll now bring my pattern ruler from this point of 1.5 on the knee. I'll place it all the way from there to meet this line here, this 4 inches line. So I'm going to draw my line from that point, and I'm going to take it all the way to the knee line. So after that is done, you can see what I have. So on this line right now, I'm going to connect this line like this. You can see how I connected it. I just connected it like this. So this is that tail that you usually see at the back of most 6-piece skirts. So if you want to make it a little longer, you can go ahead and take 6, 7 or 8 inches, then connect to this point. So we are done right now, and the next so after cutting, you can see what we have. So you can see that the front and the back panel, they are the same. So the only difference is the bum and the zipper allowance. Okay, so you can see what we have, and the tail as well. So this is how it looks like. So we'll move over to the side of the skirt. So I'm going to create a notch for my zipper allowance. So I'll just go ahead and create a notch at this point. So that will show that my zipper allowance will start at this point, and also identify the center back. So with that, we are done with this skirt. So here is the front panel, and this is the back panel. Okay, so we are done with the two of them. So the back panel, this back panel that has the is for this, and the front panel this center one is this right now. So we'll move over to the sides, which is panel 1 and 3. We are going to cut it now for the front. The side, I folded my fabric into 2, but I'll be showing you how I got the exact length I folded. So what I did was I came in with my front pattern. So this is my front pattern. So just place the front pattern just like we placed it when we were creating the back. Make sure it aligns this way. So once it has aligned, you straighten up that edge. Okay, straighten up this edge. So it's going to be straight like this. Can you see? So now the distance we have from here should be the same 7 inches, and you make sure it's 7 inches all the way. So you keep adjusting till you have it straight, because it needs to be at exactly 7 inches. So here I think I've positioned it to match up exactly at 7 inches. So after matching out, the next we'll do is to make an extension of this line. You just go ahead and make an extension of your lines like this. Then after that, the next will be to cut out what you have on the side of the skirt. So after I cut out the side, you can see that the side is looking the same. So the next thing so after trimming out that part, just go ahead and make a notch on this side like this, which is at the knee line. So when joining it, we will know that at this point, that is where we are going to join our skirt. So after doing that, you take off the front and match it up accordingly like this. So we are going to match the center front accordingly this way. So now we are going to take our waist measurement. So this line right here has to be exactly on this line like this. So just place it for this waistline. We are going to first take the waistline. So my waistline, my waist circumference is 38. Divide by 4 will give me 9.5. So I'll go ahead and place my tape and measure 9.5. So you know that already I have 4.5 here. So I'll just go ahead and place that 4.5 side by side and then mark 9.5. So this is my 9.5. Then you go ahead and add 2 inches on the side of it. So after that, we are going to talk about our hip circumference. So the hip circumference, which is the next line, the hip, my hip is 48. Divide by 4 will give me 12 inches. So here I already have 4.5, if you remember, plus the seam allowance. So from that point, I'll put it together on the hip line. I'm going to measure 12 inches and I'm going to add 2 inches for my seam allowance. So I'll just go ahead and connect what I have from the waist. I'm going to connect from my waist to my hip like this. Okay, then coming over to the knee line, to the knee line. So this is the knee line. So on this knee line, I will use what I have here, 12 inches minus 2 inches from it, and I have 10 inches. So I'm going to measure 10 inches. So already on the knee line here, I have 4 inches already. So I put it together like this. From that 4 inches, I'm going to measure 10 inches, and I'm going to mark the 10 inches. So I'll mark 10 inches. So these 10 inches, I also add 2 inches. And then you are going to use your pattern ruler like this and connect that 2 inches. So after that is done, we'll now move over to the hem. So on the hem part, I'm going to connect from that part, from this point I marked on the knee line. I'll take it all the way to the tip of this, and I'm going to mark. After cutting out the side panel for the front, you can see what I have right now. So I'm going to use the side panel for the front to cut out the side panel for the back. So here I've cut it out and I have 4 pieces of my side panel. So I actually cut it exactly the same way. So you can also cut it at once by placing your fabric on 4 folds and cut it at once if you want. You can also place it on another fabric and cut it out. So make sure you have your notches on the knee line, as you can see. So now on the edge of the side skirt, I'll come up by 1 inch and I'll shaping that part so the edge is not pointy. So I'll place my pattern ruler and shaping it out to avoid that part being pointy after making your skirt. So here I'm cutting it out and the side panels, the 4 pieces are ready right now. So now I'm going to assemble the front pieces. I'm going to join the center front and the 2 side panels for the front together. So here is the front panels, they are all ready, okay? So the next stage is to go ahead and join them together. So on our pattern 1 2 3, we have all cut it out and they are much ready. Then for the back piece is also ready. So here is my back piece. I'm laying them the way they should be. This is the center back where we have our zipper. Then I'll now go ahead and bring the side panels as well. So I'll place the side panels accordingly. If you notice, we had a notch on the knee line, so I'll be using the notches to place them. Make sure you place all of them on the right side. So here the back panels is very much ready. So we are going to cut out the lining as well. So you can see my lining. So the lining, I have two pieces of them, and the center front part is on fold. So here I have a full lining for my 6 pieces, and I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew a full lining for your 6 pieces skirt with perfect inseam finishing. So here my front panels are ready. The lining is ready. So I'm making my mark on the wrong side because sometimes this Ankara can be somehow confusing. So make sure you make your marks on the wrong side. So I'm going to take out the panels right now. I'm taking out the lining and I'm going to join fabric and lining alone. So that is the first thing I'm going to do. I'll head on to the sewing machine and I'm going to join all the front panels together so we can have one piece of our skirt for the front. So make sure you mark them accordingly. So I've done so, as you can see. So I'll open up the seams and give it a good press. I also did the same for the lining. I'll open up the seams and give it a good press. So going over to the back, I also have my panels for the back, the lining and the fabric. I'm taking them away. So I'm going to join my center back to the center back. But before I do that, I'll pick up one piece of my center back and I'm going to join one piece of it to the side. But make sure you also make your marks like I've been advising. So now I'm going to put one center back together and one side together, and I'll go over to the machine and stitch it as one piece. So here you can see I have my back pieces ready. So the center back is open, and I'm going to attach my zipper at the center back. So but before I do that, I'm going to also make sure that the back is assembled appropriately. So here you can see I have joined the whole back and I left the center back open as well. So now I'm going to join on the side back. I'm going to join the back panel to the front panel on the side. So I will place it right side to right side and I'll stitch my seam allowance, and I'll also place right side to right side. I'll advise you take your measurements once again, your round hip measurement, your round waist measurement, and your round knee measurement before you sew off your seam allowance. So here you can see I'm done sewing, and this is what I have for my full skirt. So I'll go ahead to mark out my zipper allowance. So I will put the center back together and I'll come in with my zipper. So I'm working with a short zip right here. So I'll just go ahead and place it on the skirt and make a notch or make a mark on top of the iron part of the zip. So from there I'll be taking 1 inch to the hem of this skirt. So that's 1 inch. I'm going to chalk it out and I'm going to sew on my chalk line. So I'll do that from that point to the end, and I'll go ahead and stitch from that point, leaving the zipper allowance open. And I'm going to repeat the same thing for the lining as well. So you can see I've joined my lining and I've given it a good press as well. Make sure you open up the seams. Then I'm putting the center back together also, and I'll repeat the same process, marking 1 inch on the zipper line, leaving the zipper allowance open as well. So like I said, you have to give it a good press so your work will be easy for you. So since we are working on a perfect inseam finishing, I'm going to reduce my lining by 1 inch. So just go ahead and reduce your lining after joining your lining. Just go ahead and reduce it by 1 inch as I'm doing right here. So I'm actually going to cut it out right away. So I'm going to cut it out as you can see. So after cutting out, I match up the lining and the fabric again from the waistline. Okay, so if you look, you can see that our lining is shorter by 1 inch, the fabric is longer by 1 inch. Okay, so you can see what I have right there. So that is exactly how it should be for a perfect inseam finishing. So now I'm gone ahead to sew the 1 inch which I just chalked, and my zipper allowance is open as you can see. So here is the notch I made at the knee line. Make sure you make your notch on the knee line to enable you give it a good press and to work on it as well. So I'll open it up right now and I'll go ahead and give it a good press to relax the center back very well. So here I've done so. So next is to sew your zipper only on the fabric. So I'm going to mark out 1 inch for my zipper, and I'll head on to the sewing machine now, I'm going to sew my zipper exactly the way you sew your zip. So just mark 1 inch. The 1 inch marking will help you place your zipper at the right place. So I'm going to chalk it now, and I'll also chalk the other side as well at 1 inch too. So after that, I'm going to sew my zipper. So I'll be using my presser foot to sew my zipper. So I'll go over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to open up my zipper and place it on the chalk line, and then I'm going to use my zipper foot to sew very close to the zipper as well. So here my zipper is ready, only on the fabric, and is looking nice and beautiful, as you can see. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to turn it to the wrong side, which I've done. So after turning it, you bring in the right side of the lining. So here is the right side of my lining. I'm going to insert it from the waistline into the skirt. So you just open up the center back of the skirt. Don't insert it anyhow. Just open up the center back of the skirt and the center back of the lining. Just go ahead and insert it on the center back where we have the train. So it will be matching. You open your zip and make it match right side to right side as well. So here you can see I'll open up the lining completely on the zipper part, and then I'm going to match seam line to seam line, starting from that center back where I inserted the lining. So you have it right side to right side. So I'm going to secure this with my pin all around. So I'll keep pinning on the seam lines, as you can see. So I'm going to pin all around it. So make sure you locate the seam lines and pin them accordingly. So I'll pin it from one end to the other. Just take your time and pin the whole hem of your skirt from one end to the other. So here you can see I'm done pinning all around. So I will go over to the machine now, and I'm going to sew at 0.5 inch. So here I'm done sewing 0.5 inch all around, as you can see. So next I'm going to top stitch. So to top stitch, just go through the waistline and flip all the seams to the part of the lining. So you can see me flipping it to the part of the lining, then I'll top stitch on top of it. So this is what I have after top stitching, and I gave it a very good press. So next we are going to sew the zipper area. So the zipper area, I'm going to match it as if I've sewn it, just folding 1 inch as if you have sewn it, and match it up with the zipper. Then lift the lining and pick up the seams, secure with your pins. So once you secure with your pins, follow the seam lines, go ahead, and I'm going to stitch right now on top of my already existing stitches. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and sew on top of the already existing stitches using my zipper foot. So don't forget to use your zipper foot at all times to sew your zipper. So now you can see what I have on my zipper. So the zipper is looking very neat inside and outside. So I'm going to match the lining and the fabric, and I'm going to stitch at 0.5. So this is what I have right now. Our skirt is ready. So next is to take your measurement of your round waistline. So whatever you have, add 2 inches to it, and we are going to cut out our band. So here I'm done cutting out my band. My band length is my measurement plus 2 inches. Then I fold in 0.5 inch. My band width is 4 inches. My band width is 4 inches. So first you have to fold in 0.5. Give it a good press. We'll be using that part to top stitch. So this skirt has an elastic band. So I'm going to come in with my elastic band right now. So my elastic band measures 1 inch. Okay, so this 1 inch, I'm going to take the measurement from my dart at the back to the side of the skirt, from your dart at the back to the side of the skirt. So whatever measurement you have from your dart at the back to the side of the skirt, go ahead and use it and cut out your elastic. So I got 6 inches and I'm cutting it out. So since we have elastic on the right and on the left of the waistline, I'm going to cut 2 pieces of my elastic, as you can see. So I'll go ahead to sew the band. So I'll come in with my band and I'm going to place my band. I'm placing it right side to the wrong side of the line. You can see how I placed it. I'll fold in 0.5 inch at the beginning, and then I'll go ahead and sew at 0.5. So here I'm done sewing the band all around. So I'll come back to the darts at the front to place my elastic, and I want you to watch how I'm placing my elastic. On the darts at the front, I'm going to pin it right on the seam line of the band. So I'll also take the other end to the dart at the back and also place it right on the seam line of the band. So after that, I'm going to also secure the other band too on the other side. So I'm going to repeat the same process, pin it on the seam line on the dart on the front, and take the other end to the dart at the back as well, and secure it right on the seam line. So after securing it right on the seam line, the next I'm going to do is to fold in the extension for my skirt hook. So make sure you top stitch your elastic at the ends, as you can see me top stitch. Then fold in your 0.5 inch and drag your elastic as you are top stitching. So I will go over to the machine now to demonstrate this. So here you can see this is the 1 inch extension for my hook and eye, or for my skirt hook. So I'll fold in half an inch on the top and on the side. I'll also fold in another half an inch on the down piece, and I'll bring it together, place one on top of the other, and start top stitching. So once I get to the elastic, I'm going to drag the elastic. So I'll drag it to take the length, the exact length of the band. So I'll keep top stitching till I get to the end of the skirt. So I'm done sewing right now, and here you can see the scrunchy part of the elastic. So now I'll locate the center of the elastic and I'm going to stretch it and sew right on top of the center piece. So I just back stitched and I'm going to sew right at the center of the elastic. So once I get to the end of the elastic, I'm going to also back stitch. I'll repeat the same process for the other side as well. So here my skirt is ready, and I'm going to sew my hook and eye, or I'm going to sew my skirt band, whichever one. Go ahead and stitch it, as you can see. So I believe this class was helpful to you. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. So you can see our skirt is looking very beautiful, and it has a perfect inseam finishing, as you can see as well. It also has a tail, as you can see. Thank you for watching. Bye.